This is Marvel Legends, Marvel's Apocalypse Wave, featuring Wolverine in his new tiger stripe costume from the 2018 wave. This is also my very first Marvel Legends review here on the channel. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to W2C Tour Reviews. Today we have Wolverine in his, arguably, I think, his most popular costume variant for the character. Collectors have been asking for this version of Wolverine from the X-Men series for a very long time. Hasbro originally released the brown version, the brown suit version of Wolverine previously, but I really believe collectors really feel like that this is the definitive version for Wolverine, because, you know, if you're a 90s kid growing up like me and you watch the 90s X-Men's cartoon, this is what we know Wolverine to be. And man, he looks absolutely amazing with the detail and just how the colors just really contrast well, especially when you put him up on display. So I'm really happy to be able to find this guy. I know he's probably one of the more popular characters in the wave. But excited to do my first Marvel Legends review. Now let's take a quick look at the packaging beforehand. Wolverine comes in a typical Marvel Legends box, I would say. He does come with a couple of accessories, mainly his exchangeable hands. If you don't like Wolverine posing with his claws out, you can always swap his hands in with his claws retracted. Personally, I don't think anyone who wishes to display Wolverine will ever display him without his claws, so I guess it's a nice additional feature by Hasbro. But we also see the Build-A-Figure parts here for Apocalypse, which I probably won't be picking up, to be honest with you, because again, I don't really plan on collecting a lot of Marvel Legends, but Wolverine was one of my favorite characters growing up, so I had to go pick him up, you know? On the side here, we got really cool illustrations of everybody's favorite mutant Canadian, and some cool artwork at the back here for Wolverine. Here are some of the other figures that you can pick up in the wave. A lot of X-Men, as you can see: Wolverine, Magneto, Sabretooth, Storm, Psylocke, Multiple Man, Gladiator. I think if I were to collect more Marvel Legends, I might pick up Storm and Psylocke if I could, but right now Wolverine is all I have, and I'm happy with it. Alright, let's take a closer look at Wolverine. As I said before, great paint details here by Hasbro. If you're comparing him with the brown version, the brown suited version of Wolverine that was released previously, it's pretty much the same mold, same body. I will say that, you know, Hasbro did a really good job of incorporating Wolverine's blue shoulder plates here, armor plates, because it really adds some depth, I think, to the shoulders, you know. I think the older version of Wolverine, he looked kind of weird with his big muscles here on his neck. Didn't really fit well with the proportions on his head and his shoulders. So adding this shoulder pad here that is also separate pieces, as you can see, really allow for a good aesthetics, but also a good range of motion as well in terms of articulation. Now, speaking of articulation, Wolverine is what you would expect. Not a lot of difference between this version and the one that we saw previously. We got butterfly shoulder joints here, which is really nice because Wolverine often, you know, he slashes people like this, and it's really important, I think, to include a butterfly hinge which is really well done here. Shoulders don't really go that far up because it is restricted due to the molding of Wolverine's pretty massive hands, I would say. I mean, just take a look at the size of those biceps and triceps. I mean, you know, the guy's a very buff individual. So, you know, awesome job by Hasbro. I don't know if you guys can see here as well, but the details here, just on the muscles itself, you know, you can see like patterns here that represent his hair on his arms here. You can see some of the veins as well. Really good muscle tone definition here for the figure, which again is very definitive for the character Wolverine. He's big, strong, brawny tank type of character. He's got a double jointed elbows, which is a really nice addition. As you can see here, he's got wrists that are able to rotate and also interchangeable as well. And he's also got claws here that you can move around a bit and spread them out a bit, just you know, so we can see the full effect of Wolverine's claws, which is awesome. There's no rotation for the torso, unfortunately. At least I don't believe so. We do have an ab crunch here, so Wolverine can go up and down like this, pretty far up and down. Ball jointed hips, swivel thigh, and a double jointed knee as well, along with ankle rockers. So again, Wolverine is highly flexible. You can pretty much pose him in any type of wrestling pose, I think. You know, I personally like to pose this guy sort of like in a very low stance when he's just about to pounce on his opponents with his claws ready to go. And I can't really think of anything to complain about for this figure. You know, he stands relatively well. Sometimes he falls over a bit, but that's really due to how this figure, I think, is really top heavy. The other thing I would say about this figure that's pretty amazing is just look at the face sculpt here. Take a look at the face sculpt here. I mean, if this doesn't scream Wolverine to you, I don't know what will. Now, the one complaint that collectors have had thus far with this figure is the fact that, you know, his horns here, kind of on his mask, is kind of too vertical. If you refer back to the comic books and in the early 90s or the 90s cartoon, I believe Wolverine's face mask, his horns were actually further apart. There was more of a gap on top, but you know, maybe it's just due to the way it was packaged. Maybe the horns were a little bit warped, but just amazing detail by Hasbro. This is Logan right here. This is Wolverine. So that was a very quick look at Marvel Legends Wolverine Tiger Stripe Edition in the latest wave of Marvel Legends in the Marvel Legends line. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like and a thumbs up, and comment below if you want to see more Marvel Legends review. I'm certainly open to the fact of buying more of these guys. I'm very impressed with this figure. And until the next time, may the toys be with you.